26th round of ABA League marked the end of the regular part of the competition in Regional League. With a win against FNP Cedevita clinched the home court advantage in the semi-finals against Partizan, while Crvena Zvezda will take on Budućnost. As Zadar won in Krešimir Ćosić Hall, Krka will be absent from the competition next season. Our top 5 place of the round list is as good as it gets. Welcome to the ABA magazine. Igokea completed an excellent season in ABA League with an unexpected win against Partizan and the 5th spot in the standings with 13 wins. On the other hand, the 70-64 defeat didn't hurt Partizan since Crvena Zvezda defeated Budućnost. The team with the most championship rings in ABA League will play in the semi-finals against Cedevita, who will have home court advantage. Partizan's roster is almost at full strength after medical problems, as only Gordon and Karahodžić missed the game in the Laktaši. But from the very beginning of the game, it was evident that it will take some time before they are back in shape. Coach Aleksandar Džikic's team held the lead only twice, after which Igokea made an 8-0 run, took the lead and kept it until the end of the game. Home team was led by Robert Rikić in the post, and Vuk Radivojević, who practically won the game by himself. Veteran guard ended the game with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and went 4 from 8 for 3 points. And shots from the distance was exactly what gave the edge to Igokea. At the beginning of the second period, they had their game-high lead of 16 points. Partizan got as close as 4 down, but after another scoring run by Radivojević, home team went to a half-time break with a double-digit lead. Visiting team had their chance at comeback in the third period, but they missed it. They held Igokea under 10 points, but on the other end, weren't very inspired on the offense. After an 8-0 run, they managed to tie the game at 50-50, but as it turns out, that was all they could do. Champion of Bosnia and Herzegovina quickly regained the lead and in a hard-fought last period made important 3-point shots and ended their season with a win against a well-known rival. Radivojević was the only player to score in double digits for Igokea, as Šibalić, Rikić and Robinson all stopped at 9 points. Partizan's top scorer was Branislav Ratkovica with 14 points, while Hečo scored 12, but made only 2 of his 11 shots in his return from a long absence. Black and White ended the regular part of the season in third place with 19 wins. After 1 year absence, they are back in the playoff, and their last obstacle before returning to the finals will be Cedevita in a best-of-3 series. The question of the final playoff pair was answered in Aleksandar Nikolić Hall. After Partizan suffered a defeat in Laktaši, Budućnost had the opportunity to take third place if they take down the current leader. However, Crvena Zvezda denied them with an 82-66 win, and this game was just an appetizer for their playoff series. Coach Dejan Radonjić's men reached another milestone. They are the first team to finish the regular part of ABA League season with 25 wins and only 1 defeat. They also welcome back the Serbian national team member Stefan Jović, who has recovered from injury. The first half of the game was probably the best of the season as far as scoring goes. Both teams were excellent from the three-point range. The home team made 9 out of 11, while the team from Podgorica made 8 out of 14. Coach Zurov's team stood their ground all the way until the second quarter, when Charles Jenkins started a 10-point run that gave Crvena Zvezda a double-digit lead. But the champions of Montenegro weren't ready to give up yet, and by the end of the quarter they reduced the deficit to 5 points. However, Budućnost lost their edge, as the home team stepped up on defense. The shot percentage declined on both sides, but the team from Belgrade pulled off an 11-2 run and formed a 14-point lead. Budućnost gathered up the strength to fight back once more, and by the end of the third quarter they reduced the deficit by half. But they ran out of gas and for a good part of the final quarter scored only 2 points. The home team took advantage and with a series of 3-pointers took the win. Crvena Zvezda made 13 out of 27 3-pointers and finished the game with 24 team assists. Jenkins scored 21 points and added 5 rebounds and 3 assists with an 80 field goal percentage. Kuzmic finished the game with 14 points and 8 rebounds, while Metrovic, the team captain, scored 13 points and had 5 steals and 7 assists. Marcus Williams played an excellent game against his former club with 14 points and 5 assists, while Gordic added 10 points. With a win over FNP in Zagreb 104-92, Cedevita clinched the home court advantage in the semi-final series against Partizan. This was the 20th win for the top-scoring team in the regional competition, a club record. Once again, coach Branko Maksimovic couldn't count on Filip Čović, while Aleksa Radanov was also absent from FNP. The team from Železnik came to Croatia with a clear game plan and dominated on offense. In the first 10 minutes of the game, Australian Jonar Bolden scored 11 points and made all 3 of his 3-point shots. Miro Bilan kept Cedevita in the game, but the first quarter finished with FNP on top by 4. At the beginning of the second period, Filip Krušlin scored a 3-pointer that put Cedevita in the lead, while Mirsa Begić continued Bilan's good work. Bolden was quick to gather 3 fouls and had to spend nearly all of the second quarter on the bench, and the champions of the Croatia finished the first half with a 49-45 lead. FNP continued the third quarter in the same rhythm and regained the lead with a series of 3-pointers. But at that moment, Ryan Boatwright stepped up once again to save Cedevita. The former University of Connecticut player scored 14 points with 3 3-pointers in the third quarter alone. He gave his team a crucial 6-point lead before the final quarter. With 11-0 run, Cedevita reached a 17-point lead and took the win. Bilan led Cedevita with 23 points and 7 rebounds in only 17 minutes, while Boatwright scored 20 points. Bolden stood out in a defeated team with 23 points as he went 7 from 7 from the 3-point range, while Ljubicic scored 21 points and 7 assists. With a win over Olimpija and Krešimir Ćosić Holo 81-78, Zadar managed to avoid relegation. The teams were even during the first quarter. Boris Barać and Ivan Ramljak led the home team and Divine Oliver the guests. He scored 11 points and made 3 3-pointers in this quarter alone. Zadar dominated at the beginning of the second quarter. After 4 points in a row by Jakov Vladović and the free throw by Barać, they reached a 10-point lead, 34-24. With 4 points in a row in the last 2 minutes of the first half, Jefferson set the scene for the run in the third quarter. Olimpija started the second half with a 3-point lead, 38-35. They lost it, but with Zadar up 46-42. Jefferson scored 7 points to give the guests a 5-point lead. Olimpija held a game-high lead at the end of the period, 62-53, but Zadar responded with a 9-0 run led by Ramljak and Marinković. For the most part of the final quarter, Zadar had a 4-point lead. Olimpija got as close as 72-71, but Barać came off the bench to score 5 unanswered points. After that, Vladovic scored a three-pointer to take Zadar to a giant 80-71 lead in the last minute of the game. With the 9th win this season, Zadar stayed a step ahead of Krka. Even though the team from Novo Mesto defeated Cibona, it remained in the last place. Barać and Ramljak scored 18 points each for Zadar, with Ramljak adding 11 rebounds. Vladovic finished the game with 16 points, and Marinkovic and Kovačević with 11 each. Jefferson led the defeated team with 20 points, while Jankovic finished the game with 17 and Oliver with 15 points. In spite of defeating Cibona 95-91 in Novo Mesto, Krka will not compete in ABA League next season. Cibona's coach Damir Mulamerovic couldn't count on Emir Sulejmanovic, but Luka Žorić returned to the team, and it was Žorić and Čakić who gave the lead to the guests at the beginning of the game. Marko Lukovic started well for the other team with 2 three-pointers in a row. Krka had trouble on offense, and the team from Zagreb scored easy points from turnovers. After the first quarter, they had a 16-point lead. Cibona started the second quarter with a double-digit lead, but with a 14-2 run, Krka tied the game. However, Marin Rozic punished the opponents from the free throw line. Cibona went on a half-time break with a 2-point lead, 46-44. At the beginning of the third quarter, the home team coach Simon Petrov decided to give Ron Kari a chance. That turned out to be an excellent decision. Thanks to Kari and Lukovic and their aggressive defense, they started the final quarter with a 6-point lead. The final quarter was played point for point, and Paolo Marinelli shined for the guests. In the 35th minute, he tied the score. In a dramatic finish, Ron Kari stepped up and scored 10 points, and Lukovic sealed the win from the free throw line. Unfortunately, it was not enough to avoid relegation, as Zadar managed to defeat Olimpija. Lukovic led Krka with 24 points and Kari had 15. Rozic finished the game with 24 points for Cibona. The team from Zagreb finished the season in a 7th place. Mega Legs defeated Karpoš Sokoli 82-69 in Sremska Mitrovica. The youngest team in the league finished the season with a win and in the 6th place. Coach Dejan Milovic couldn't count on Ognjen Čarapić and Vlatko Čančar, while Karpoš had to make do without the Croatian Dominik Mavra. The home team started off well, but thanks to Bojan Trajkovski, the Macedonian squad turned the result in their favor and finished the first quarter with a 5-point lead. Mega's power forward Radoslav Spasovic played one of his best games this season and returned the lead to his team during the second quarter. The guests made enough threes and thanks to Kendrick Perry held a 2-point lead at halftime, 42-40. When the game continued, the teams were neck and neck, but in the 27th minute, coach Dragan Nikolić's men reached their game-high 8-point lead. However, Mega responded with a 12-2 run and started the final quarter with a 2-point lead, 62-60. At the beginning of the fourth quarter, the hosts went on an 11-2 run, which gave them a double-digit lead and the win. Mega's best player, Rade Zagorec, shined in the second half, when he scored 14 of his 19 points. Radoslav Spasovic finished the game with a point more, while Trajkovski was the top scorer for Karpoš with 17 points. However, he only made 7 of his 18 shots from the field. Mornar defeated MZT 64-63 in Skopje. This is the second time this season that they have defeated the team from Macedonia. MZT played without the injured Stefan Sinovec, while the guests couldn't count on Cameron Tatum and Octavius Selis, who have left the team. The teams were even during the first quarter. Drenovac was in the mood for the home team, while Balša Radunović and Boris Bakic shined for the guests. Momo Jones stepped up in the first quarter, opposed the biggest threat for MZT during the second quarter. With Bakic's 5 points in a row, the guests finished the first half 35-31. At the beginning of the third quarter, Ty Weller got hot, and with the help of Bakic and Radunović took his team to a 15-point lead, 51-36. MZT responded with a 5-point run at the end of the third quarter, but with a 2- and 3-pointer, Jones brought them back to a 15-point lead. With new shots made by Jones, Morner raced to a 70-point lead in the third minute of the fourth quarter. That seemed to wake MZT's Drenovac up. He scored a series of points, interrupted by Marko Simonovski's three-pointer. With a 20-2 run, MZT reduced the deficit to only 2 points. But Whaler took the game over once again and the home team couldn't find a way to stop him. This was Morner's 10th win of the season. Their top scorer was Jones with 12 points. Bakic finished the game with 15 and Whaler with 12 points. MZT finished the season next to last with an 8-18 record. Their top scorer was Drenovac with 21 points, but also had 6 turnovers. MVP of the last round was Miro Bilan. CDVita's captain led his team to victory over FNP that gave them the second place before the playoffs. Center for the national team of Croatia scored 23 points and added 7 rebounds, 2 assists and 1 block. All that was enough for 31 index value points, and what made this achievement that much impressive was that he only played for 17 minutes. Last season's MVP took home the MVP title for the player of the last round. We start off our top 5 list in Laktaši. Blaž Mahkovic with a massive baseline dunk. At number 4, a monstrous dunk by Megas Rade Zagorac. Third place goes to Zadar center Kristijan Krajina, breaking ankles and finishing with a dunk. An alley-oop from Krkas Rebec to Kari at number 2. Marcus Williams pulled off the top play of this round with this no-look pass to Owen Klassen. This would be all for this edition of ABBA Magazine. We will be back next week with highlights from the semi-finals, so stay tuned.